Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, Sunday Politics on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. They say the security of lives and property is a primary goal of government. And with coronavirus, modern security is being disrupted globally. Some of the biggest economies have suffered setbacks. China is feeling the heat. America has lost 2 people already. Italy, Iran, South Korea are not finding it funny at all. In fact, it has become a global scare, not only to health, but to security, lifestyle, education, and all. Since the first case was confirmed in Lagos, Nigeria, so many things have happened. And tonight, we thought, why should we talk about pure politics on the show today when lives of citizens are at stake? Tonight, our conversation is purely on governance and policies, and basically on the matter that jolted government across the world, coronavirus. What is Nigeria doing to ensure this dreaded virus does not shut us down as a nation? Already, aside the case that is being monitored in Lagos, as you can see there on your screen, in nearby Ogun State, tracing is ongoing and also quarantine. So you see the governor and his deputy. It shows a consciousness in the sense of what is happening. In some other parts of the country, and Plateau State also, several kilometers away, so there's some people who have been quarantined too. Let us get some updates and knowledge on what is happening. We shall be speaking with the governor of Lagos State, where the index case is being monitored, and also the Minister of Health to give us a nationwide view on the situation. But tonight, we speak on the specifics. We start from the specifics to the larger point of view. So we start from Lagos, where all eyes are on, and the index case and the man from Italy, the 44-year-old man who came into the country last week, and the case has put Nigeria on the map as regarding coronavirus. I'm now being joined by the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program. You, as a chairman and perhaps, of course, the head of the monitoring team in Lagos on this case. And even before coronavirus came, your government has said you're prepared because Lagos, being a center of trade and commerce in Nigeria, this kind of situation, of course, could have been suspected, could have started from here. And so, as predicted, it did. But let's begin with what we know to what we do not know. For now, how is a 44-year-old Italian whom you are monitoring, you visited him today. What can you tell us about him?
Thank you very much, Sean. And good evening, Lagosians and Nigerians in general. Yes, it's true. Indeed, I was at the center. I was at the infectious disease center hospital that we have in Lagos. I was there earlier today, and I was taking around the facility. I was able to also view our biosecurity laboratory. I was also well geared in my PEP suits, which I'm sure you all saw. And so the entire incident control center, I was also taking around it. And I was gladly surprised at also the level of the preparedness that my team, I've put all of this to. It gladdens one's heart that you still have Nigerians who take their job seriously at all levels. And but regarding the incident case, what I was told, because I couldn't enter his ward, but I was right in front of it, was that he's responding to treatment, and that in fact is getting a whole lot better, on the treatment that he's been given out to him. And so they're monitoring him closely, and that everything is under control as we speak at the center now. And if I might just give you information, because that's really what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to give you timely information and give you updated report. Right? I just came off the phone just before I came on air, about 30 minutes ago, and just to confirm to you that there was another incident that we brought from Ogun State overnight yesterday, and we've run the test all throughout today. And I'm glad to let you know that the that particular patient to have turned negative, meaning that we do not need to further take the person into isolation. It's been quarantined before, but it's not in the isolation room. So the person is just being observed for that, but he's also negative. So it's only one person that we still have that is positive, and all of the things that we need to do, they're doing it as we speak currently at the center.
Mr. Governor, are there any other contacts with the index case, the patient, the COVID-19 patient in Lagos? Are there any other persons that are suspected that are under scrutiny or investigation or test as we speak? Are there any person under quarantine as we speak?
Well, yes. I mean, so what is happening is the location where this incident happened, where this patient, this incident patient was picked up, there have been staff of that organization that are currently being under observation, right? And if you use the word quarantine, is also a proper word to use, but they are currently being under observation. None of them has got into a level of displaying any of the indices that could lead to being evacuated to the disease center, right, for testing. None of them. But there was another case that we got late last night that we had to go pick up, right, and they arrived at our facility overnight, right, and today the test was conducted, and that particular test too had turned out to be negative, right. This particular case too was picked up from Ogun State, right, and so that's how we've been running it in the last couple of days.
Why is Lagos picking this up? Why is Ogun State not taking care of the case at their own state?
Well, I mean, the testing lab is in Lagos. We have the biosecurity lab that I talked about that I'm sure your reporters were able to see today. We could conduct the test there. Everywhere in the world, it's not the kind of test that you can conduct in any laboratory. There are specialized laboratory that has been designated to be able to conduct this particular test, right? And also the reagent are also not the things that are on the shelf everywhere. So I know that what the federal government has done is to probably scale up centers or tests around the airports. So Lagos is also, you know, an international destination, and we have been prepared way long before now. And I think there are other test centers around the country. So Ogun State is obviously very close to us, and it just makes, you know, sense that we join our brother state and we jointly resolve whatever case is coming out from there.
Give us an understanding, because I mean, one thing is your efforts in battling the situation. Another thing is your colleagues in government, in cabinet, trying to battle the issues of fake news and some of the issues that your government have debunked over the last few days. Let's clarify for Nigerians to have a proper sense of what is happening. At first, we understand that there was an incident of one of the persons under quarantine trying to escape. Another incident was reported as though that the man, the patient, the COVID-19 patient, was complaining of about the facility, that there is mosquito, the place is not properly set up, the place is not habitable. What is the situation at the facility?
Sheung, the facility is first class, right? And I'm sure we open up today to reporters, both local and international. Over 60 of them were at the facility with us today. They've seen the state of the infrastructure that is there. It's comparable anywhere, any of the facility we have in the country, right? So what had happened is, whilst the incident case where the patient first would be tested was like in a holding bay, it's only when you turn positive, right, that they will now put you to the main quarantine facility. So there was an holding bay before you now move into the main quarantine facility. So the two places also have been well put together. It's just a simple case of the fake news that we talked about. So somebody asking or saying things around the place is not conducive and there's mosquito. Did they get to talk to the patient or to the incident person? Did they get to talk to them? I mean, were they in communication with the person? No. It's just people's perception of what they think would be happening. The TV you're showing now, what you're showing on your screen, these are all backup. These are all backup tents that we have. Right now we have 100-seater in 3 wards that we have. So these are additional backup in also in the same facility that we have. So that is the door to that is the biosecurity lab that I'm showing you. That is the lab, that I'm showing you. And so you can see that the whole environment is well covered. You can see a medical personnel, working in there, and so the whole place it's ring-fenced and there's controlled access, there. So it's nothing. The patient is well taken care of. It's under a condition that is very conducive, and I'm sure that the reports we're getting, it's gladdening as we speak.
Governor, the people that are quarantined in Ogun State, have they been brought to Lagos for tests at this same facility?
No, it's only when you now start presenting cases of illness, right? You could person to person, you can just pick somebody and you can do, like a lot of people do self-quarantine in other parts of the world. So you can do quarantine, which is the kind of thing they're doing now. And if there's no illness that manifests, there's no need for you to come and do the test. It's only when all of the symptoms that we've talked about turns up, the heavy sneezing, the coughing, your spitting. It's only when it gets to that stage and it manifests that you can now be asked to come and do the test. So quarantine is just to sit, is like a holding and watch you for the next 14 days, which is what they've done in other parts of the world, right? It's not everybody that has had contact that will eventually turn positive, right? So what you do is, if there's a contact, the first thing is just quarantine you and observe you for the number of days that has been speculated by the World Health Organization, which is typically 14 days. So it's within that 14 days, if you now get scaled up to a crisis where they notice that you are now falling ill or you're falling sick, then you now need to move to the next level, which is to be the test. And whatever be the outcome of the test, you go into complete isolation.
So anyone who tests positive to coronavirus within the Southwest region will eventually end up in Lagos, because that's, from what we are hearing, is that the only facility in this part of the country?
Well, I mean, we are already in Lagos. We have a facility in Lagos, and we have responsibility for any of our citizens that will require the care. I mean, we want to be able to support the effort of federal government. We want to be able to support the effort of, if it's our neighboring state, and if there's any call upon us, we would gladly be able to come to the rescue. Right. But I imagine that my brother governors too are doing all they could in their various states.
So, Governor, give us an understanding of how much of some of these gears, like one you're wearing there that we can see on the screen, the kits, the protective gears that are available, how much of it do we have? Can we also produce any of these things locally?
Well, I think some of the components can be produced locally, but a whole lot were imported, and we have more than we can imagine. We've got thousands of it because it is per use. Once you wear them and you come out after 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 1 hour, that's the end of it. The whole thing is trashed. You cannot touch them again. You cannot use them again. So it's one use and it's per trip. Each time you go in and you wear something and you come out, you cannot use any of the full garments again. So they have to destroy, all of it. So we have what we consider a very sufficient numbers. And when I checked last, we've got a couple of thousand, well over 1,000 as we speak.
So because it's interesting and it gladdens the heart a lot of people who are hearing now to know that how ready your government is in battling this, because in some parts of the world, some parts that you will describe developed economies or developed countries, they are battling to stem the tide of this virus. So we get clarity that the facility is not a case of the fact that the facility was not good enough. It's the fact that it was a holding facility earlier before the man was transported to the facility where he's being treated. That's what you meant earlier, Governor.
Correct. So there's an holding facility. Once you turn positive, you go to the main facility, which is where you have a complete isolation, and the treatment can start immediately.
So let's take this forward now. In terms of education on a larger scale, because Lagos, several millions of people enter to Lagos and out of Lagos. Aside the airport that comes into Lagos, where people come into Lagos, what other measures are you employing? Because there are border areas in Lagos to ensure that there's proper checks on who comes in from some of these countries, because a lot of the countries of the world have now confirmed cases of coronavirus. Maybe I should go over the question, if, Mr. Governor, if you can hear me. I'm saying that in terms of taking the step forward, the facility that you have, the effort you are making to ensure that people are tested and care is being given, what other efforts are you employing aside the attention at the airport? There are other border areas in Lagos because there are several other countries at the seaports and all of that. What are you doing to ensure that anybody who comes into your state is tested and you can have the situation under control?
Well, thank you very much, Sheung. The country is currently still under border closure. So all known border closure in the country, which are under the federal government, still have restrictions. So the borders have still not been opened. So that is on. Regarding the sea, there is really, we've checked and we realize that a lot of people that are coming from the sea would have done an average about 2 to 3 weeks, on water. Meaning that if it's a case where you would have manifested the virus whilst you are traveling, something will have happened in your 14 or 21 or 28 days journey, in the air. But we have medical personnel too that we've deployed to support the workers at the Nigerian Port Authority. I don't know the exact number there, but I know that at the port we have much more. The Lagos State Ministry of Health have over 60 personnel that have been deployed to the Muritala International Airport. Regarding movements in the country, right, we really cannot restrict that. So, but what we'll be doing from tomorrow going forward is that we've called all our local government chairmen. We're having meeting with all of the our CDC, CDA, in all of our local government. We're calling all our medical health officials at the various primary health institutions. And so we're scaling up the advocacy and them understanding what are the things they need to look out for, right? And we'll be giving them a lot of materials and a lot of things that they can take to their various communities, right, in terms of advocacy, in terms of communication. That's tomorrow. Next tomorrow, we're taking it to another level. We're bringing all the Transport Owners Association and Transport Workers Association, the market women, the market men, other skilled and semi-skilled association. We're bringing all of them together, and we're also advocating, what they need to be looking out for and how, they can communicate with us. What are the things that their members need to know, right? And all of that too will be happening, on Tuesday. I think that I might also be having some meetings with my brother governors, some of them tomorrow, with some of their commissioners of health. And so at that meeting, we'll probably also be sharing information. We'll be comparing notes, and we'll be able to look at how to take all of these things forward.
What more can you tell us as regarding schools? In some parts of the world, there are efforts being made in schools to ensure that children or school pupils are safe and secured. Are you looking into these areas?
Thank you very much, Sheung. So one of the things that we will be doing in the days tomorrow, next tomorrow, and after is also to scale up, hygiene, personal hygiene and environmental hygiene all around our schools and our public spaces, right? And so we will probably be taking the advocacy back to our schools to ensure that they remember the washing mechanism, regular hand washing with soap and water, ensuring that we keep a clean environment, at our schools and public spaces, markets, and all of that. So all of that will start on Tuesday, where that advocacy, will continue and aggressively, just scale it up from there. But part of the things that we have currently at the incident center is we have a 24-hour command and control center where, I can give you the telephone numbers at the end of this program. People can call in, right, if for whatever reason they suspect an individual or an individual wishes, to report himself or herself, so that they can pick up such individuals from any part of the state, or advise them to present themselves in front of a medical personnel, and the incident commander, the incident personnel can pick it, from the command and control center, and know how they collaborate with any form of incident that happens thereafter. So we have numbers, we have people who are working 24/7 at the command and control center, which is just part of the facility that we're prepared for all of this. And I need to also mention that at the command and control center, it's not only Lagos State Ministry of Health officials. We have officials of the World Health Organization there. We have officials of UNESCO there. We have officials of the National Center for Disease Control. They're also there. And I think officials of also the Federal Ministry of Health. So it's a full bouquet of medical personnel. And of course, the security personnel are there as well, the DSS and also the Nigerian police, just to be sure that, the whole area continues to remain safe and secure, because it's actually a controlled access area. So they begin to work in an atmosphere that they're safe, they're secure, and they can always look at the situations as they arise and talk on the table and know what level of escalation they need to get into. So all that is happening, at the center as I speak, 24/7, right around the clock.
To wrap up the conversation, before we move and speak to the Minister of Health, just about to wrap up now, in France, we understand that the government of that country is saying that any gathering that is more than 5,000 people, they've restricted gathering more than 5,000 people because of these emergencies and the issues of coronavirus. But in Lagos, are you looking into policies to ensure safety? And what are your emergency officials? What are they telling you? What feedback have you gotten from them, from the field? And also, what support are you getting, for example, from other partners, global partners like the WHO?
Well, okay, so for you to move to the next level, scaling the response to the next level. Some indices needs to happen, right? And so I speak to my deputy incident commander, which is the Honorable Commissioner for Health, Professor Aki Abayomi. We speak every hour, right? And we review what our current situation currently is, right? We do not believe that we've gotten to that stage right now, but we are speaking to ourselves and we're getting ready in the event that needs to happen. So that's why I said tomorrow we're activating all our meetings and our correspondences with the local government chairman, our CDCs, our CDA. Thereafter we're meeting all the stakeholders, all the various unions, right? I mean, school authorities and all of that. So it's all around informing them, carrying them along and telling them what are the symptoms we need to look at, right? But the moment we believe that we're now having higher incidence of maybe people turning positive and the person-to-person contact is also increasing, then we need to activate the next level, of emergency control, which will probably lead to the kind of things we're talking to. But I think it's important for us to say that the situation is under control. There's really no need for us to pass panic amongst our people. We're watching, we're reviewing, and we're speaking to ourselves, on an hourly basis. And if anything, happens, then we know what next to trigger. But as we speak, we are fully in control of it.
We must sincerely thank you and your efforts that you've been made as a state, which stands out of the 36 states of the nation in ensuring that what has become a global scare is not running Lagosians and Nigerians out of their minds. Many thanks, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos, for taking time out to talk to us on this. Thank you so much, sincerely, for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jill. Thank you very much.